Welcome back to Bay Sunday, everyone. Earlier, my colleague Michelle Griego spoke with Today's Show weatherman Al Roker about his memoir, Never Going Back, a journey through morning television and a waistline that he finally got under control. Let's take a peek.
We are talking about your memoir, Never Going Back. Can you tell me what kind of inspired you to write this book and tell me a little bit about it?
Well, you know, I go to get speaking gigs, or I go to charity events, and people are always asking either what time do you get up, and you look terrific, what are you doing to keep your weight off? And I decided to write Never Going Back to give people an idea where I've been, where I am, and where I hope to go. But also to say, look, this book is not a blueprint of what you need to do. I hope that people read it and maybe be a little inspired to get on the path and figure out their own way. Maybe they'll take some stuff from it, maybe they won't, but I think if nothing else, they'll have a smile or two, maybe recognize themselves in it, and be a little inspired.
Al, tell me a little bit about your path when you got to the point where you said, I need to make a life change.
You know, my dad, who I idolized, in fact, he had decided, this was years ago, had quit smoking cold turkey. And sadly, about 11 years ago, we discovered he had lung cancer. And he was dying, and I would go to see him every morning before the Today Show. And one morning he said, look, we both know I'm not going to be here to help raise my grandchildren. So you got to swear to me right now you are going to lose weight, because we've gone around this dance a lot and it hasn't done anything. And I swear, you know, I want you to swear to God. And I did. And he died about 8 days later. And about 3 months later, I had a gastric bypass. And I went from 340 pounds to about 190, and then stabilized at 200, and stayed that weight about 8 years. Then my mom got sick, and I fell back into those same old habits. And I realized I hadn't really changed what I had done. I had avoided some things and had danced around it, but I hadn't, you know, really basically changed how I ate and what I did to work out. And after my mom passed, I said, you know what, I've lost my dad, I've lost my mom, I'm not going to lose this battle. And I made some big changes, and that was 4 years, almost 5 years ago. And since then, I've started biking to work. I've run the New York City Marathon and 6 half marathons. I've started swimming, and more importantly, I'm able to keep up with a 10-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 25-year-old.
Which is tough to do.
Let me tell you.
How are you feeling now?
I feel terrific. When I look back at a video of how I was, I realized two things. A, I was a whale, and two, I realized I had really stopped watching myself on TV, because I think subconsciously I couldn't take what I was seeing. And now I don't mind looking at me.
Yeah, well, I have to say, you do look pretty good, Al. Tell me about what kind of advice do you want to give people out there who may be thinking the same way you were thinking 8 or 11 years ago?
You know, look, I know sometimes it's very discouraging, but the first step is to realize that you have to put yourself first. I was one of those people, as many parents are, or if you work or you have you know, siblings or parents that depend on you, you tend to put yourself second and put everybody else first. When it comes to this issue, you have to put yourself first. You have to make your workouts the most important thing. You have to make sure your eating, your food is tantamount to a sacred trust. You have to make sure that you put these things first, because if you don't, nobody else will.
And you know, you've made this lifestyle change, but do you ever want to fall back into bad habits? Is there just something, some kind of food that you just want?
Well, here's the deal. I don't deprive myself. For example, over the Christmas holiday, you know, I had a little chunk of ham. I had a little bit of macaroni and cheese. I had a little stuffing with my turkey. But then after that was over, I got right back to eating the way I need to. I never stopped working out, which gave me a little bit of a buffer. And so that I didn't feel like the difference now is that in the old days, I would have had seconds and thirds of the macaroni and cheese. I would have piled my plate up with the stuffing and the ham. I don't do that anymore. I have a little bit, and the bypass, the gastric bypass, you know, kind of keeps you from doing that. But you can eat through a bypass, as I've discovered myself. I mean, I lost 140, I gained 40 back during that 3-month period when my mom was sick. So, and I know people who have done it, gained all their weight back, which is just got to be a horrible feeling.
Well, for you, you're never going back, right?
That's my plan, and I'm sticking with it.
All right. Al, thank you so much for the time you're taking out to talk about your book. Good luck.
Thank you, Michelle. Have a great day.
And thank you, Michelle and Al. You can purchase a copy of Al Roker's book, Never Going Back, at your local bookstore. If you'd like more information, you can also log on to alroker.com. Back with more Bay Sunday in a moment. Stay right there.